time we sit here for the last few weeks, we've been saying, great, what another great result. It is another great result. That run just gets more and more extraordinary. 6 wins out of 7.
Well, you got to temper that, of course, with the realism of the situation, and that is that we've made our our efforts in this run have made it a more realistic possibility to stay up. But that's what it is, and I don't think I'll fall into the trap of going into any game thinking the job's done. That's not the case. Our 2 remaining fixtures are both against sides who, of course, QPR's situation's been, since I last spoke in the press, has been altered somewhat. But even then, they're games that we've got to try and get the result right for us. So, of course, the game against Sunderland in particular becomes a very important game. But in the context of the season, it remains very much a similar sort of a message, and that is that we want it to be in our own hands, and this gives us another opportunity, but it'll be a tough game for us.
It is extraordinary to think, though, that from where you were, 140 days at the bottom of the table, you could be safe with a game to spare.
Well, we'll see, won't we? Yeah.
But with that in mind, will you have somebody listening out for what's happening with Hull at Spurs?
I don't think these days you can get away from it at any point, can you? It really, I won't be interested. Of course, I'll be interested, but first and foremost, our concentration has to be on ourselves, and our own game. That's not going to change. I've tried not to change that all season, and I can't see any reason to do that now. When it becomes probably more relevant with the last game of the season, if you like, if there are, I've been involved in games and seen probably more so with opponents where what's happened elsewhere during games becomes more of a sort of an issue in terms of how tactically sides have to alter. And I suppose our last game of the season last year was a good example of that in terms of Doncaster and that. Not nice to see how other people's seasons can be flipped on a head within seconds, and so there is that element of being aware of what happens elsewhere, but ultimately our focus has to remain very much on ourselves for this game, and that's really where we're at.